All of the things we're taking, 'cause we are young and we're ashamed, sends us to perfect places. All of our heroes fading, now I can't stand to be alone. Let's go to perfect places.
"25-year-old New Zealand equestrian Tom Gadsby has been killed during a cross-country event in England.
Today is the 4th of August, and it marks 5 years since the day I should have died. I was competing splish in a one-day event a few weeks before a regional teams competition called Springston Trophy, which I'd been selected for to ride in as an intermediate, competing at 95 centimetres. I was 14 during the time of the accident. During the show on the 4th, we placed 5th or 6th in the dressage. Show jumping went really well and we jumped clear. Not many of the other combinations did go clear because the grounds were getting slippery from the rain, so people were taking rails and getting stops. After show jumping, we started our cross country. As I left the starting box, Splash and I were sitting in first place, which we were unaware of. I was too nervous to look at the scoreboard before I finished competing for the day. But then at the last jump on the course, something went seriously wrong. Before this day, I didn't know what a rotational fall was. Basically, it's where your horse flips or somersaults over the jump as they're not able to put their front legs down to land. And you as the rider don't fall off, which results in you being crushed underneath your horse. My mum was filming me while I was riding. She had to walk through multiple different paddocks. When I was nearing the end of the course, she needed to walk from one paddock to another in order to see me finish. So the footage of the last jump is really blurry, and if you watch it at normal speed, you wouldn't think anything of it. But if you slow it down, you can see the accident. The last jump on the course was a really large straw hay bale, and it wasn't secured properly. There was the 80 centimetre hay bale, which had a gate behind it. There was the 95 hay bale, which is the one that I was jumping, and there was the metre 5 hay bale, which had wooden stakes behind it. The 95 was wedged in between the other two. We think Splash hit the jump with his front legs, and because it wasn't secured properly, it rolled, meaning that his front legs were trapped underneath him and he wasn't able to put them down to land. When you slow the video down, you can see how Splash and I landed. You can see Splash's head and neck. My top was green and my jumpers were white. And you can see Splash's back legs in the air and the underside of his belly. To give you an idea on the scale of things, the hay bales were the height of the bonnet, and Splash's back legs are higher than the roof of the fence steward's four-wheel drive car. As my mum brings the camera around more, you can see the hay bale being lifted off the ground in the process of the rolling, while Splash landed on the back of his head and his neck, leaving his back and his hind legs to be vertical before gravity pulled him down on top of me. Although my horse is on the smaller side, he weighs around 500 or 600 kgs. And when you combine that with speed, the impact At this point in time, my mum hadn't realised what had happened. When she did realise, she said this.
Shit.
From what I remember of the accident, we slipped on takeoff. I remember seeing the ground and then seeing his patches and them coming down on top of me, the impact of him on top of me, and then me screaming, and then it went black. The next thing I remember was looking up and looking at people around me in a circle. I remember trying to sit up, only to be told by the paramedics that I needed to be still. As they put a neck brace on me, they said I might have spinal injuries or internal bleeding. I remember asking if Splash was okay, but everyone around me implied that was the least of my worries. The most obvious injury I had was the bone sticking out of my left wrist. And then everywhere else on my body just being really sore, especially my chest. I was taken to hospital in an ambulance. Later it was clarified that I'd broken my left arm in 3 places and the bone in my wrist was displaced, which is different to being dislocated. I underwent a procedure, basically opened up the joint in my wrist for them to be able to knock the bone back into place. After they did this, they let the circulation back into my arm, put a cast on and then x-rayed it. At the time, the most significant injury was to my arm, and we were also told to monitor for concussion. After the event, I also found random bruises on my body. It took a while for my arm to heal, a bit longer than a normal recovery period, and later on it was found that I suffered from chronic whiplash. 6 months later, after my wrist had healed and I'd been medically cleared, I competed in an athletics competition. I'd just finished the sprint race and I felt really weird. My vision went all yellow and orange, my heart was pounding so fast like it was going to explode from my chest, and I couldn't breathe. I passed out, but thankfully my best friend grabbed the attention of a teacher and they carried me into some shade. Because the symptoms were still happening for a decent amount of time afterwards, they moved me into a classroom and let me lie on the floor underneath the air conditioning. Another teacher sat with me and monitored me, and I wasn't allowed to close my eyes or have a nap as they wouldn't be able to tell if I was unconscious again or not. Because the symptoms went on for over an hour, they got the school nurse to come down and look at me. At the time, they thought that I had heat stroke, but the heart symptoms kept happening throughout the next few weeks. On different occasions, my parents took me to my local GP, who later referred me to a cardiologist. After many tests, I was diagnosed with a heart condition. Basically, my heart condition is my right ventricle is significantly enlarged. It is thought the impact of the rotational may have caused or contributed significantly to my heart condition. Because of all this, my cardiologist said that I am not allowed to compete higher than 1.10 m, as my heart won't be able to cope with the pressure and adrenaline the heart has to function with. And with all the other symptoms that come with my heart condition, I'm too high a risk of passing out while riding. Although a rotational fall is one of the scariest things you can go through as a rider, I've learned a lot. But one thing I do want to say is that riding is so much more than competing. From my perspective, the thing that should be valued first and foremost is the bond and the relationship between horse and rider. I guess the thing I want you to take out of this video is to please understand that horses are not robots programmed to win trophies or rugs 24/7. They are animals with a mind of their own. The bond between horse and rider is irreplaceable. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a bit different to the things I would normally film and the way I would normally film, but I hope you enjoyed the story time, and I will see you in the next video very soon. Oh golly, this is gonna be such a depressing video. Ugh.